there was this one
Mhm.
point where everybody just, stopped and they didn't know what to do there. And me
Mhm.
being shy, I didn't know how to say, so I just started playing that part. And AR heard that and he said, let's do that.
When you speak of uh, working with legend like Mr. A.R. Rahman, I want to know what is it that you guys talk about when it comes to music making. And first of all, he's a very soft-spoken person. So
Hmm.
what makes him talk? Like what gets him talking, and what is it that you guys talk about in general, or when it comes to music making? What is your process?
When I started working with AR, I was very similar to AR's personality. Now I talk a lot.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, okay.
when I started playing with AR, I was very much like him. I would not talk much at all. I would do all the
Right.
talking through my playing. I remember this one time when we were working for Coke Studio session, and there was this song called Zariya. And I
Zariya.
don't know if you have heard the song, but if you have, you will hear this part of bass, which goes like little bass solo kind of intro thing that happens
Right.
before
Read
before the yeah.
yeah,
So that
chorus.
section was never there because we were making music in this one room in Whistling Woods, planning and arranging all these songs like Nanye and Zariya and Jagao Mere Des with Sivamani in the room, Keba, Prasanna, all incredible
Yeah.
musicians that I was working with for the first time. But remember, these musicians have worked with AR for a long time before that.
Oh yeah.
I was the
Oh
only
yeah.
one who was new to that
Hmm.
setup that AR wanted. I remember when he walked in to the room and he came to me and he said, I was going to get Tal Wilkenfield for this episode, but when I heard your playing, I only wanted you. And that was a big compliment
Ah,
for me, and
indeed.
being what I was only 16 that time, I think. Hearing
Yeah.
that from AR, it was like, that's really nice, that was very nice of him to say that, and it made me happy, it made me smile. um
Yeah.
but like I said, I wouldn't talk much, so I was kind of like him in those days, because I didn't want to be misunderstood, or I didn't want to give the
Right.
impression of being overconfident because, hey, you're 16 and you talk too much. you know uh, and of course, it's a respect thing. There's Sivamani, Prasanna, Keba, all of these guys, they're all very, very respectable
Giants.
musicians, and yeah,
Oh
great
yeah.
musicians, and have worked with AR and so many others. So me going into that space, I have to be very disrespectful and not say anything that I regret later. Even if it's
Right.
just musical something like, "Hey, we could do this," but if I say, "Hey, we could do this," it's like, huh, still the tone matters. There are a lot of things that
Yeah.
gets counted because you are being met for the very first time. Your personality
Oh
matters,
yeah.
your confidence matters, everything matters. And I was very shy
Right.
at that age. I was very, very shy. So anyway,
True.
so talking about Zariya, when we were arranging that song from
Yeah.
scratch, AR had some ideas, and then I remember Prasanna had some
Hmm.
ideas, and they were just exchanging those ideas. And there was this one
Hmm.
point where everybody just, stopped and they didn't know what to do there. And me
Hmm.
being shy, I didn't know how to say, so I just started playing that part. And AR heard that, and he said, let's do that. So he understood
Ah.
that I wanted to talk, but because I'm shy, I cannot really say anything. So I'm just going to play.
Right.
So I started playing,
Yeah.
and he said, let's do that. And that's how that
Right.
part got introduced into Zaria. And
Zariya.
then I
Wow.
remember during the shooting, in Reliance Studio where it was shot. Was it Reliance? Yeah, I think it was Reliance. So when
Okay.
we were shooting for the song, I remember it felt a little bit short, that space. So I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
why don't you take a little solo yourself before I solo? So you take 8 bars, I take 8 bars." So he said,
Ah.
"Okay, let's try it." And then we tried it, and then the 8 bars of AR's
Right.
rolling keyboard solo, where he does
Yeah. Ta 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 ta. Yeah.
Correct. And then my bass solo. So that's how it came about, you know. So there were a lot
Right.
of moments that were special like that. I remember Jagao Mere Des. There's that little unison bit which is very challenging to play. Prasanna made that line, and AR was just like,
Wow.
"Hey, why don't you go make a line with Mohini, and then come back, and I'll work on the coda or something, the outro of the song." So Prasanna and I sat on the staircase in Whistling Woods, and he was showing me these lines. He was making them, and he's like, "Huh, how does this sound? Can you play this? Can you play that?" And I was a very very quick learner, and challenging things was my
Wow.
jam, you know. So I picked it up
Yeah.
really quick, and I was like, "Hey, can we do this note instead of this?" So I was also proposing some ideas, and he really liked that. And then we came up with that line. It goes like,
Right.
so it was a very kind of Konakol based ish line with jazz
Yeah.
phrasing, which AR loved,
True.
and it made its way in Jagao Mere Des. So yeah, some stories for the
Fantastic.
listeners out there.
Beautiful
Yeah,
story.
indeed.
Yeah.